Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Wild Manifestations podcast. I'm your host, Heather Ione. I am a spiritual life coach and manifestation mentor. And in this podcast, I talk all about manifestation, the law of attraction, as well as other universal laws you might not have heard of before, overcoming different limiting beliefs that prevent you from becoming the person that you are meant to be and creating the life that you want to create in this lifetime, doing a lot of self discovery work and inner work to connect you with your highest self, as well as raising your vibration through different lifestyle, wellness, spiritual practices, all sorts of stuff like that, so that you can become more magnetic to your manifestations. I created this podcast as well as my business, my coaching programs, all of that, every single offering, so that I can deliver you the tools and the insights that you need to become a deliberate creator of your life. And in today's podcast episode, I'm talking all about drawing people into my energy and a little bit of proof of manifestation that I've been experiencing lately, because I think it's really important to share these stories because it's really difficult when you're trying to manifest something and you're not seeing it show up. And I find that it can be really helpful to hear other people's stories of manifestations to really just give you some faith and prevent you from going down that little rabbit hole of like, oh my God, what if this never comes true? I'm not seeing how it's going to work out. How is it going to work out? How is it going to work out? And then eventually you lose faith, right? So I wanted to share with you a little bit of proof of manifestation that happened in my life recently. So without further ado, let's get into today's podcast episode. So, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory here before I get into it. This whole year, I have been struggling a little bit with just a certain mindset shift that I had to make as a coach, right? So, I have been reading so many books and I've been having my own spiritual life coach for all of 2020. It's been so helpful, but I kept coming across the same content from my coach and in these books that I was reading. And they kept saying, it's not about the ego. It's not about you. It's not about what you want. It's about how can you serve humanity. And when you serve humanity and when you help people and you come from this place of, you know what, I want to raise the vibration of the planet. I want to help people. I want to make a difference. I want to give back. The universe allows you to sort of manifest at record speed. And I heard this over and over again, and I was like, okay. I like totally didn't believe it. I don't know why. I was just like, it didn't connect. And I've been reading this the whole year about like how we have to come from this place of serving people and we can't come from this ego-based place, right? And that's where a lot of the block is sometimes. You know, you want to manifest more money and more abundance, but if you are just going at it for selfish reasons, sometimes you're just going to get stuck, right? And when it came to me building my own brand and calling in coaching clients and calling in just calling in people into my energy and allowing people to come into my energy and see me as a coach, see me as a light worker, see me as a healer, see me as someone that they can turn to for help and guidance and support when they need it, I was just struggling because I was still coming at it from this sort of ego based mindset where I was like, you know what, I want to make X amount of money and I want to travel to these places and I want to be able to buy this and buy that. And I still like, I think the problem was in the past, I had so much success with manifesting physical things. So that became really easy for me where I was like, oh, okay, I want to manifest this car. But I had never had to call in people or build a brand or build a business before and really draw people into my energy. So it was something that was really new to me. And I didn't really know how. And I didn't really know how to come from this place, this mindset of just serving other people, just to serve them, just to help them, just to uplift humanity. And in the past few weeks, I really made, I should say in the past like month or so, I made this like mental shift where I was like, you know what? Fuck the business. I don't care. I don't care how much money I make. I don't care what my life looks like. I don't care what I can buy. I just want to help people. I just want to help raise their vibration. I just want to help them to become a deliberate creator of their life. Because when I do that, if I can do that, if I can teach you how to become a deliberate creator of your life, then guess what happens? All of the sudden, later on, there's this shift that happens where you're like, oh my God, not only can I become a deliberate creator of my life, but we can do that for the world too. And then everyone can have a better life, and everyone has human rights, and everyone is happier, and everyone is healthier. And all of a sudden, you realize that when you create this shift in your life and you become a deliberate creator of your life, then other people can do that as well. And conscious businesses are created and conscious businesses are supported and they thrive. And then it sort of just raises the consciousness of the planet. And it's this incredible, beautiful shift that happens. It just ripples out into the rest of the world. And that's been a download I've been getting recently just about the role that manifestation plays as far as like the bigger picture in humanity and uplifting the world. And that's where that connection is. So I really realized this in my own life that, you know what? It's not about me anymore. I just want to serve other people. I just want to help you because if I can help you and I can do that one piece, then you are going to take those shifts in your life and your higher vibration and impact everyone else in your life. And that's going to ripple out into the world. So I created this shift in my life. And then I realized, you know what? In order for me to do this work, I need to sort of manifest more people and I need to bring people into my energy. Whereas in the past, like back when I was in college, I wanted the Instagram likes, I wanted the followers, right? I wanted the attention online, I wanted the validation. But for the first time in my life this past year, I got over all of that and I don't care about the numbers. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how many people like my Instagram picture. I don't give a shit how many Instagram followers that I have. I do not care how many people listen to this podcast. I just stopped caring about the superficial numbers. And instead, I was like, I need to reach people who need this message, right? I need to serve people. I need to speak to that girl who's in a tough place in her life right now, or guy, I should say, and really give them the mindset shifts and the tools and the guidance and the inspiration and whatever they need to create that shift in their life. So I was like, I need to draw more people in and build this brand awareness for the people who need it, not for myself, right? So, what I started to do was I learned of these different client activation meditations. And I heard of all these different meditations that people were doing to draw in soul aligned clients and draw people into their energy so that they can help the people who need it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a try. I wasn't expecting anything. I had heard of these meditations in the past a bunch of times, but I just never felt called to do them because I didn't think that they would work for some reason. So I listened to my coach's client activation meditation and I did that one. And from there, I just decided to sort of tweak it. I kept listening to other client activation meditations too on YouTube, reading about them in books. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make this my own. Because if I can make this my own, and not follow a specific formula, then it's going to feel really good. And that's when I'll probably see the shift. So over the last couple weeks, every day at some random point in the day, I sit down and I do this meditation. And basically, I make myself a light, like a bright, bright light all around my body, all inside my office, and I just make the entire room fill up with this incredible bright light in my mind as much as possible. And that's what you typically do to raise your vibration. And from there, I would visualize like white light coming from my spirit guides, from my highest self, from the spiritual realm, and then rippling out to the rest of the country. And I would sort of visualize the map of the United States, and I would just imagine like my light in Florida, and then it would just sort of create this little ripple effect where it was like going off like every couple of seconds. There would be this white circle radiate out into the rest of America, and then it would just keep happening where I was sort of like making myself like a lighthouse almost and calling out to the people who need my message on a soul level. And I would always pray while I was doing this too, either before or after, and just ask my spirit guides to please help me to draw in the people who need my message. Please help me to draw in the people that I can take higher, who I can serve, who I can support, and help make that shift in their life. The people who really need me, who I can make a difference in their life, right? So I would ask my spirit guides, I would ask my highest self for their help, their support, and I would do this meditation. And I just kept doing all sorts of things like this where I would visualize myself as light, and I would visualize all of these other little light bulbs from the people who I would serve in the future just sort of turning towards me and being pulled into my energy. So I was like magnetic almost. And that has been something I've never brought in to my manifestation and visualization practices before. This magnetic energy. Normally, I really elevate my feelings and I elevate this feeling of gratitude from my heart space. And I just feel like I am overflowing with something and like I already have it. But this was more like a magnetic energy where I was just pulling people in. And I wasn't pulling them in for selfish reasons, I was pulling them in to help them, right? And I've been doing this now for, I want to say like 2 or 3 weeks, and I've really been doing it consistently, and I've been doing it really well for the last 2 weeks, ever since I figured out, how I was going to do this meditation in a way that just felt good for me. And it started to pay off. And that's what I wanted to talk about because I I've never had success with manifestation so quickly, but I've already been having people contact me and telling me, like, oh my God, I love your energy. I feel drawn to you. I don't believe in coincidences. The universe led me to you, all sorts of stuff like that. Just in the last 24 hours, I've had 5 people reach out to me and tell me that. And that's why I wanted to create this podcast episode because guys, nothing has changed since then. You know what I mean? Nothing has drastically changed in my business in the last couple weeks. I didn't have people doing this before, even after my website launch. But it was after I started doing that visualization meditation, coming from this place of service, asking for my guide's help, that all of the sudden people started to be drawn into my energy. And the first story that I want to share with you, the story that really, really inspired this podcast episode, was one day I just got this notification on Instagram, and it was from someone who I wasn't friends with, so I had to like accept it or delete it or something like that. And I got this little message like, so and so wants to send you a message. So I pulled up this Instagram message and I read it. And she was basically saying that it was day 3 of listening to my podcasts and she loves it and she can't stop listening to it. And she was so obsessed with it. And oh my gosh, I just got literally another message like this from somebody. See, this is what I'm talking about. It just happened again as I'm talking to you. Ugh, I just have chills. Okay, what was I saying? So she was saying it was day 3 of listening to the podcast. She can't stop listening. She's saying that the messages are resonating with her. She feels like the desires are on her way. The podcasts have made her day, increased her vibes. She's like, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'm so glad I came across your podcast. You're an angel. I'm on cloud 9. It was just this beautiful message. And I was so happy when I received it. And Oh my gosh, I just felt so grateful. I talked to her and I was like, that's amazing. Thank you so much for reaching out. And I was like, I want to hear how she came across my podcast in the first place. Cause I mean, that's good to know. I'm just in the beginning stages right now of really launching this podcast and getting my messages out there. So I asked her how she came across my podcast. And she tells me that she was reading the book Super Attractor by Gabrielle Bernstein. And it was about a week ago, she said. And then she shut her eyes and she asked the universe to send someone to guide her. And she had no idea that this podcast ever existed before then. The next moment, she said, the next moment, I have no idea how, the podcast all of a sudden pulled up and started to play on her phone. Oh my goodness, I have chills again. And apparently it started to play at a time when I was talking about how you're supposed to thank the universe for your manifestations coming true. And I guess, started doing my thing, talking about manifestation on her phone. And she said that she had tears and she was so appreciative. And she believes that the universe sent me to her. And I just thought that that was such an incredible moment and just such proof of manifestation. Two people who had no idea of the other person all of a sudden just finding each other through this random coincidence. Like, has your phone ever started to just play a random podcast that you'd never heard of and never pulled up before? Like, that just doesn't happen. And I have actually heard of stories like this happening to people, but I never had experience with it. Like, I also have read Gabrielle Bernstein's book, Super Attractor, and I think she mentioned it in that book where she was saying one day she was asking the universe for support, asking the universe for help and guidance. And all of a sudden, her phone just randomly started playing a song that had the exact message that she needed that she didn't have saved and she'd never played before on her phone. It just randomly started to play it. And she has also shared in the past that she has people write her literally all the time that say, oh my gosh, I was asking the universe for help. I was asking my guides for someone, like, they were in a tough place. They needed help. They needed guidance. And all of a sudden, her book would literally fly off the bookshelf and land at their feet. And she said she had heard that happening to countless people. I remember her talking about this one day. She's like, I cannot tell you how many people have written me and said that all of a sudden my book would fly off the shelves at them. And I never had experience like this before. And I didn't even really believe that it was possible for me. But ever since I started to do these little activation meditations and really feeling magnetic and pulling people into my energy, now I'm having my DMs suddenly just pop up with all of these people saying, oh my God, I love your energy. I feel drawn to you. I know that the universe brought me to you and all of this stuff. And I think that that was just the perfect example of this happening. And this happened to me 5 times yesterday and again right now as we're talking. Another thing, too, that ended up happening was yesterday I had a good friend of mine. Actually, you guys know about her. She's Jennifer Gilman. I actually interviewed her on this podcast. But I checked my phone yesterday. I checked Facebook, and she had shared my manifestation video training series with her whole audience on this essential oil page that she has. And she like posts modules and stuff like that in there. And she shared how helpful the video training series was. And she encouraged other people to go check it out too. And she also made a post congratulating me about my website launch and how proud she was of me and encouraging people to check out the website. And that was amazing. I had one of my best friends reach out to me and say that all of a sudden someone started talking to him about the law of attraction and manifestation and saying that they were really interested in learning about it. And he texted me and he said that he gave his friend my contact information, gave his friend my website so that she can learn more about manifestation. And he was like, I have the most magical human to send you to. And that made me so happy. And again, it just happened today. Someone reached out to me and said that they found me through a old YouTube video. So this was the quickest I've ever seen a manifestation start to come true. Usually it takes about a couple months. Typically my pattern is I manifest everything that I want all at once, and then or I visualize everything all at once, and then what happens is every 3 to 6 months I get a new thing that I wanted. And that's kind of how things have been unfolding for me since I was 19. Every 3 to 6 months, I get the car, the house, the puppy, the soulmate, the check, the this, the that. But this has been something that's been happening so quickly. And I know that it's that because I have people telling me, like, I just feel drawn to your energy. And that's never happened to me before until I was literally trying to pull people into my energy in this past couple weeks. So that is today's podcast episode. It's a pretty short one today, but I really just wanted to share this proof of manifestation and the law of attraction with you, give you another little dose of inspiration, give you another manifestation story. So if you're waiting for your manifestation to come true, you can have some faith that it's on the way, because I know that that is literally the hardest part. You're like, how is this going to happen? And it's really difficult to just wait and know that your manifestations are going to show up, right? And this also just goes to show you will never in a million years be able to predict how you end up manifesting something, right? You're never going to be able to predict it, because I would have never predicted that my podcast would randomly start playing on someone's phone when they asked the universe to send them a guide to support them. I would have never predicted that. I could have never predicted that this one person would find me just through a random YouTube video that I considered taking down before I started doing that activation meditation. I wouldn't have predicted that people would ask my friend about manifestation and he would share my website with them, or my upline would share my video training series and my website with people. So you just will never, ever, ever in a million years be able to predict how your manifestation will come true. And it just goes to show that you have to have the faith, and you have to know that the universe has your back. It's supporting you, it's guiding you. And even though you have no idea how you're going to get there, it's going to work out and you will manifest whatever it is you want. I promise you it's possible, as long as you release that how and you just trust that it is going to work out. So, before I get going today, I just wanted to let you know, if you are listening to this podcast episode, please from now on, if you have an episode that you really like, make sure to share it on Instagram. I know whenever I see someone sharing a podcast episode, like screenshotting it and sharing it on Instagram, I always go check out that podcast episode, because I'm like, if it was that good that they're screenshotting it, then I need to hear what's on that podcast episode. So, please help me to raise the consciousness of the planet and reach more people like this, and share these messages with someone who needs it, someone who maybe feels like they're stuck and unhappy and they don't know how to create their dream life. I really want to reach every single person who needs this message right now, especially now because it has been a tough year, you guys. You know what's actually interesting? Okay, this is a side note, but I was talking with my web designer one day, and she was showing me a Google Console and the back end of Google Console and kind of how it works and how you can figure out what keywords people are searching and stuff like that. You wouldn't believe the boom that happened with the keyword manifestation and the keyword law of attraction in 2020. It shot up like crazy, because what's interesting is people are actually drawn to manifestation when they hit rock bottom and they're super unhappy and they're like, oh my gosh, something needs to change. I'm miserable. I need to take responsibility for my life. I need to visualize something better for myself. I need to work towards that. I need to take aligned action. Like, people realize they find manifestation when they are usually in a really rough point in their life. And that just goes to show why in 2020, law of attraction, the views on law of attraction content shot up like you would not believe, like higher than it has ever been since like The Secret came out and stuff like that. So people are really, really needing this message right now, you guys. So if you can share this podcast with anyone who needs these messages, that would be so wonderful. Please share it on Instagram. Please write a review if you feel called to. And also, if you just need more support and guidance, you can always check out my website, heatherione.com. I have all of my coaching programs listed on there that you can learn about. You can book a coaching consultation. It's completely free through my website. You just go to the coaching page and you click the button that says book now, and you can just it's all automated. You can just book a consultation, whatever it works for your schedule. You can also check out my blogs on there. I have tons of blogs on manifestation and life coaching and vision boarding and, manifestation affirmations and all of the things. I also do transcripts of every podcast episode. So if you ever are struggling to find something or remember something that I said, you can always just quickly read through it. So they're there on my website in blog post format as well. What else? I have a visualization meditation that you can download. I have an affirmations recording that you can download. I have a Wild Manifestations essential oil blend, all sorts of stuff. That is where all of my tools, all of my resources are for you in one place. So you can just get all of that content all at once. You can search for whatever you're needing right now to best serve you at this point. So, anyways, that's enough from me. Thank you so much for pressing play today and joining me, and I will talk to you in the next episode.